Hello everybody and welcome to this Sunday afternoon. I am Peter Julius and some of you might know me as Pedro Julio here on Facebook. Apologize, I had a little bit of technical difficulties before. It was Rihanna, she was playing with the router for the Wi-Fi. Rihanna, my cat, not the singer. So yeah, basically I would like to talk about my previous post where I've been sober. You probably saw it on social media where I've been sober a year and a half, 18 months, which was a huge achievement for me. So well done to me and thank you to all that have been there and supported me along the way. I've got a few requests if I could make a little bit of video about it, and of course I would do that. Your wishes is my command, so to speak. So basically, like I said, I'm Peter Julius. I'm originally from Denmark. I now live in Spain for the past 13 years. I live here with Beyonce and Rihanna, my cats, not the singers, just to clarify that one. And I'm going to be talking about alcoholism and my journey to sobriety, because I noticed there's a lot of people out there that's a little bit curious about it and also a little bit afraid of talking about it because it can be a little bit of a taboo, and I totally understand that, because asking me years ago, I was definitely not an alcoholic. I was just one who really likes to drink a lot for like 10-15 years, and towards the end I was drinking really a lot behind closed doors, but we will get into that in just a moment. So what really pushed me off the edge, that was the summer of 2023, more specific, May the 12th was the day where everything went into a huge shit show for me, to be honest. It was the day when I had a boyfriend for a couple of months. We've been seeing each other, and in my mind he was the one that I was going to marry, and everything seemed to be absolutely fine and perfect. We had one drunken argument, the first and only drunken argument, and to my knowledge and what I've been told afterwards from my friends was I was very drunk, surprise surprise, and his friend later joined us and they want to talk, and that conversation went on for an hour. I kept saying, I want to go home, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm drunk. And that was basically the argument. I left because I was drunk. Anyway, long story short, we're not going into details about relationship in this video, but I quite easily got dumped the day after on a WhatsApp message and ghosted. Absolutely, completely. And what do we do when we have a broken heart? We drink, and then we drink a little bit more, because that's what most people do, even those who's normally not a drinker. Well, going on for this summer of 2023 was absolutely the worst nightmare of my life. A few weeks later, I got a phone call from a hospital in Denmark. My mom was in hospital. She had a blood clot in the brain, and she was numb all of the left side, and I could hardly understand what she was saying. So now I was standing there, oh my God, I lost the man I thought I was going to marry. My mom was sick in hospital. I was just like, why, universe, why? And what do? You have a drink. And then I remember a few weeks later, and this is a time span of 6 weeks, guys. A few weeks later, my boss, I had a really good job down here working for a car insurance company, called us all into a meeting, and he was like, well, basically we are closing down the office here in Spain, but you're welcome to move back to Copenhagen with us. And I was like, nope, I live in Spain and I love it here. So within 6 weeks, I lost the love of my life, or I thought he was. My mom was quite sick. She's much better today. She's just a little cook like me, so everything is normal. And I lost my job. So there was 3 major events within a time of 6 weeks, and that's kind of lead me off the edge, not feeling I was good enough, not feeling life was worthy of me and what is going on. So I was drinking more and more and more. Normally when you are like an alcoholic, it's also known as a brain disorder. Just so we are that clear, the brain goes into have some sort of reward system. So when you have, what can you say, a good day at work, then you have a drink. When you have a bad day at work, you would have a drink. When the sun is shining, you have a drink. When it's raining, you have a drink. So you're kind of like getting my drift. You keep drinking, even though, it's not for a celebration, how can I say, normal people do, they have a drink after work on Friday nights, or they go to weddings or birthdays and they have a drink. No, with an alcoholic, you kind of get this reward system, and then the brain goes into this is a habit of thought. Oh, I finished work, I should have a drink. I'm cleaning, I should have a drink. Oh, I took a shower, I need to have a drink. So the reward system with alcoholics goes on and on and on. And once you cross that bridge to the other side, I'm sorry guys, there's no way back. Either you drink yourself to death, or you quit drinking altogether. Bringing of death. If I did not stop drinking when I did the 13th of September 2023, I strongly believe that I would not have made it 2 years after that time, because my drinking was so heavy all the time. My friends did not know it because I was a functioning alcoholic. I was not one of those bumps down on the street. No, I was not drinking carton wine. No, but I would drink the cheap one to €2. So what's the real difference here? When I was going out with my friends, I would always say, oh, I just had 2 wines, and then I have to go and feed my cat. Of course, I was going home to the supermarket and just get another 2 bottles of wine. The thing you also need to know about alcoholics, we are amazing liars. We lie about the amount of alcohol that we are drinking. So when I said I had 2 wines last night, I quite literally mean 2 bottles of wine. It was always bottles. And very often I remember back in the days that if I only had a half bottle of wine left and I was drunk off my face on the sofa, I would almost go into panic mode. I would go around the streets here in Torremolinos, very close to Malaga, Sunday nights or Wednesday, whatever night, and I would go around and looking for a bottle of wine, because what if I wake up middle of the night and I'm thirsty? I need a drink. Or what should I have for breakfast? Because I normally wake up 7 and the supermarket doesn't open until 9 o'clock. So, that's how the alcoholic brain that works very often, that you go into this panic mode and you need to have a drink and you need to reward yourself. Where was it? Yes. So what really, moving a little bit fast forward, what caused me to say, hey, I need to stop drinking? Well, towards August and September, I was just drinking so much all the time. I mean, it was just constantly, and I would wake up in the morning and had the shakes like a heroin addict. I thought, well, that's not normal. So I had a few glasses of wine before going to work, and that kind of came the shakes down and would get a normal voice. I thought it must be healthy for my body. But then moving on to September month, right before I stopped drinking, sometimes I would be so drunk in the morning, like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I had to say, hey boss, listen, I'm sick today. I had some bad sushi. I had some bad Chinese food, because I couldn't go to work. I was wasted. Anyway, I had a good friend down here in visiting me here in Torremolinos, and yeah, I was a little bit emotional here. Didn't expect that one. We went out on a night and we had a lot of drinks, and I went home, and I think I've been a little bit rude to her, because that was also another one of my little trademarks. When I was drunk, I would send evil text messages, like really evil, just to, only to the people I love, or the people I really cared about, just so you have it in writing forever. But anyway, that night I fell straight on my face. You've probably seen the photo. I had a huge scar on my forehead, I remember, and it was still hot here in September month, and I just slammed down straight to the floor, and I'm like 190 tall, which is 6'3". So it's a long way to fall, and there was no cats on the floor, no rocks, no nothing. I was just landing straight down, didn't take off my hands, and I just remember, oh, I hurt my head. And I was sitting down on the sofa, like, ooh, it's a bit hot and sweaty, and I just looked down at my hands. I was like, oh fuck, this is blood. This is really bad. And then Michaela came out from the bedroom. She was already in bed, and she was like, Peter, Julius, we need to have a talk tomorrow. And I was like, yep, we do. And she's been a great support. So thank you so much, Michaela, in Copenhagen. It was so embarrassing and so uncomfortable to talk with her about it, but I knew I needed help, because the drinking was out of control and I did not know how to stop. I did not know. I could not see, end of the tunnel. I heard about AA, but I was like, no, this is not an option for me because I'm not an alcoholic. I don't sit on the street. I don't drink carton wine. I go to work. I have a job. But soon I'll be out of a job, so maybe I am an alcoholic. So anyway, we had a good talk with her. We got to my doctor and I got what's called Antabus. Antabus is like a pill you take, so you're super duper allergic to alcohol. The doctor was even like, he was like, if you use mouthwash or have any gravy or desserts with alcohol in it, you have to go to the emergency room. Are you clear? Do you understand me? I was like, yes, I do understand. So it's very important when you are taking Antabus that you are staying away from that, absolutely 1000%. And I did it. Then the next thing I had to do was obviously to tell my friends here in Torremolinos, my drinking buddies, that hey, I had a problem, and many of them did not have a single clue that I had a drinking problem because I only had 2 or 3 glasses of wine when I was with them. I was home by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning because I had to go to the supermarket. So you see, clever also. So yeah, that was super embarrassing to tell them that. Everybody I told, and I do recommend it, tell your friends, your family. It's not easy to do. I did not tell my family right away. I told my close friends that I was living with here in Torremolinos, so they kind of could keep an eye on me, make sure I didn't do anything naughty. The rest of my friends and family are told over the next couple of months, and it has only been an absolutely great support I got from everybody. So I do recommend it. Tell to people because they do understand. No one has judged me at all. They're just like, oh my god, yes, you have been drinking a lot, or they've been saying, we didn't have a clue what was going on. Thank you so much for telling us. We are here for you. But was it? Yes. So I went to the doctor and he was like, but you cannot take these Antabus to begin with. You have to cut down on your drinking because you've been drinking so much, so heavily, and you have the shakes in the morning if you don't have a drink. So I was actually cutting down on my drinks down to 2 glasses of wine a day, which is like roughly around half a bottle. It might sound like a lot to some people, but when in the end you're drinking 2 to 3 bottles a day, half a bottle is nothing. And I did that for a few days, and then I started on the Antabus. One thing no one told me, and I wish I knew, when you stop drinking completely after drinking so much for so many years, you do get the shakes like the heroin addicts you see on TV. That is absolutely true. I got it the same way. I was like, this cannot be healthy for my body. I have to start drinking again. But then I was like, no, I cannot. I have to stop. Because I started to research a bit about it, and I saw people are, living a good life and have good jobs without drinking alcohol. So can I, because this is what I want. So the first step, obviously, is to make sure and understand that you have a problem, admitting to yourself, and then go and seek help. I do not recommend it to do it alone. I do recommend to have some good friends or go to AA meetings or the support of your doctor. Now, going to my first AA meeting. I don't know if you guys have seen what's called the TV show Mom. It's an American sitcom. It is so funny, and I saw it years ago, and I was like, oh, this is all fake. They're sitting around in a circle drinking coffee and having cake, and I said, hi, my name is Peter, I'm an alcoholic. Hi, Peter. My name is James, I'm an alcoholic. Hi, James. AA meetings, if you haven't been to one, it's exactly like that. We sit around in a circle and we talk about, whatever comes to our mind, alcohol related. Now, my first meeting, I was so shy, and I was like, I thought this was supposed to be anonymous. I mean, I know half the people here. So I was like, oh my, I know you, I know you, I know you. And I just realized that all of these people I had seen on the street, they were actually alcoholics and functioning just fine. But my first meeting, I told them that, and they know it here, my local group here in Torremolinos, that my first meeting, I was like, I don't belong here. This is wrong. You all smell funny. You have no idea what I'm going through. And oh my God, oh my boy, was I wrong. because I kept going back, and they kept saying that keep coming back, and they were so nice and they were so friendly. And this is the only place I have ever been where I have opened up, and I see here so many people opening up about the deepest, darkest secrets. And I mean, every single meeting I go to, I'm like, yeah, relate to that. Yeah, I fucked up like that. Yes, I know this. I know that. Sometimes in meeting, I must say, they're a little bit sad. And other times, you know, they are so funny. Some meetings I actually been laughing like, oh my God, this should be like stand-up comedy. This is like award-winning Oscar, whatever show, because the stories are so much fun. So we do listen and share a lot. So go to AA meetings. Another thing I put here on my list, what helped me is going to have a therapist, to see someone who knows you, someone not knows you in that sense, but someone maybe you know and you trust, or you have a consultation call with that therapist, like someone like myself, because I do hypnotherapy and I help people with addictions and other mental issues. But if you want help with someone who is with dealing with alcohol problem, like an alcoholic, I would recommend to see a therapist who has had an alcohol problem. Because again, the things you hear in the AA meetings, you will never hear anywhere else in the whole world. So get a therapist that you really connect with, someone you can talk to about every single thing. Another thing I also would recommend, what helped me a lot, get a new addiction. Yes, I said it, get a new addiction. My new addiction, gym. Yes. I love to go to the gym in the morning. I go to the gym 5 times a week now. I really focus on my diet, what I'm eating. I like good looking, healthy food, which is food with loads of vegetables, protein, pasta, potatoes, everything like that. So my new addiction is definitely the gym, eat healthy. Also cats, not only do I have Beyonce during my drunken period, she's still here, she's happy that Papi is not drunk all the time, but also adopted Rihanna from Malaga. So cats and gym is my new addiction, and now I start to feel like I have another addiction, and this is plants. It might be because the springtime is here, so I'm buying a bit more plants on my balcony, so there's hardly room for any more cats or or people. But you know, I am a country boy from Denmark, so you know, you can not take the boy out of the country, but you take the country out of the boy. Or is it the other way around? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, definitely get a new addiction, because the mind again works that way. Once you take an addiction away, you know, that habit of thought, it's a good idea to replace it with something else. And I just want to point out with AA, first time I read about AA, I thought it was a lot of God stuff and God this and the Holy Spirit and all of that. If you're religious, that's absolutely fine. I am more spiritual kind of guy, believing in guardian angels, the law of attraction, the universe. So for me, that old God stuff, that I was a little bit like, I don't want to do that. But actually, you don't have to believe in anything like that. But with me, I would say I believe more in my guardian angels and the universe, and put myself into self-hypnosis at nighttime if I have like a dilemma in my life or anything need a bit of guidance. So don't worry about the God stuff if you're not into that. I also would like to point out that I have not done the 12 steps and I have not got a sponsor. Now this is my choice because I have chosen to get a therapist instead and speak to my therapist friends about what's going on in here, and not a sponsor. So some people, they prefer to have a sponsor and do the 12 steps, and I don't. And I don't judge you if you do or don't. So just to make that clear. Another thing I would like to say, once you stop drinking, do your best the first couple of months or something like that, or years maybe, to avoid any trigger events. Now, what do I mean by that? It could be the Friday night at work where everybody is having a drink, and normally you also have a drink. So avoid that for a period of time. It might going to be a little bit lonely, but hey, that's the way it goes. You are going to stay alive because you're not going to be drinking. So avoid those trigger events. Now I also know I just got sober and I had to deal with Christmas and New Year's Eve and my birthday, which was 3 big events where normally you would be drinking. Christmas, I just said to my family, hey, I'm on a health kit, I cannot drink, but trust me, I was looking at that wine like a little dog just begging for food at the table, like all drooling. I was like, oh my god, it looks so nice. But I was on Antabus, so I knew I couldn't do it. And I was in my mom's house, countryside. The ambulance would get there in like 30 minutes, and another 30 minutes to the hospital, I'd be dead. So that was not an option for me. And I remember my first New Year's Eve as sober, I actually went to bed at 10. I was like, fuck it all, screw you all. You're gonna be drinking, I'm not. So, so yeah, avoid trigger events. Or if you have to go to a birthday or wedding or any big company events, for instance, have an escape plan, or have someone that you can call, someone you know and trust, and say, hey, I'm going to this big company party. I know it's going to be free alcohol, free bar. Do your best to stay away from it. And then call that person, or say in your mind, if this happened, or I'm starting to reach out for a glass of wine like that, leave. Just leave, because it's for your own best, for your own mental health. And the last thing I would like to say is tell people that you have an alcohol problem, because more people, they do understand. If people are still going to say, oh, but you can just have one drink, I'm sorry to say, but they're not your friends, or even as family. Cut them out of your life. Maybe not forever, but for a period of time, because people have to understand that this is a disease and this is very serious. People, do stupid stuff when they are drinking and ruin not only their life and their bodies and everything. So tell people what's going on. Now, people have been asking me, do you think, Peter, that you're going to be able to have a drink again? And my answer to that, I don't think so, because now when I think of alcohol, even to this day, I'm thinking, I want to drink. I wish you could just have one more drink, one more, being absolutely hammered, shit-faced, pass out on the sofa, black out like I used to. But I also know I'm not going to be able to stop. And my mind would think I can drink as much as I did before. But now when I haven't been drinking for like 18 months, I'm sure if I had one glass of wine, I'd be drunk off my face. And that would trigger that little monster in your head that I will continue to drink even more and more and more. So do not pick up the first drink. Have a good friend to call and contact and everything. So yeah, that was just a little bit of advice from me. If you believe you have a drinking problem, go and see a doctor, maybe get some Antabus, AA meetings, therapist, get a new addiction, gym, cats, plants, eating healthy, and then tell people around you that you have a drinking problem. And then if there's anything else I can do for you, please reach out to me here on social media, or you can also have a look what I do and what it stands for on my website, peterjulius.com. And otherwise, I just want to wish you a nice rest Sunday afternoon. All right, ciao for now. Bye bye.